Hey, welcome back. Today we're talking about an idea that's going to sound extreme at first, but stay with me, because by the end of this video, it might not sound as impossible as you'd expect. The idea is this: save 50% of your income, half, every month, into savings. I know. Your first reaction might be that there's no way that's realistic. And honestly, for some people in some situations, it isn't, at least not right away. But there's a growing community of people who are doing exactly this, many of them on middle-class incomes, and the financial freedom it creates is genuinely remarkable. Today we're going to talk about why it's worth working toward and exactly how people actually pull it off. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about what super saving actually looks like in practice and why people do it. Imagine you take home $100,000 a year after taxes. The 50% approach means you live on $50,000 and save the other $50,000. Or maybe you bring home $80,000. You live on $40,000 and save the rest. On paper, that sounds like a sacrifice. But here's what that level of saving actually buys you. People who save at this rate are often able to pay off their mortgages in 5 to 10 years instead of 30. And the difference in total interest paid over that time is enormous. They're able to fully fund their children's college savings while the kids are still in elementary school. They max out their retirement accounts every single year. They pay cash for vehicles. And they carry the kind of financial cushion that means an unexpected expense doesn't throw everything into chaos. More than any specific milestone, what super saving really provides is peace of mind and flexibility. The knowledge that you have a substantial surplus, that you're not one emergency away from financial stress, changes how you move through your life. You don't have to hit 50% right away. Even moving toward 30% or 40% puts you in a dramatically better position than most people. But 50% is the North Star, and understanding how people get there is useful even if you're starting much lower. So how do people actually do it? Let's walk through the strategies. The first one applies specifically to couples, and it's probably the most straightforward path to saving half. Live on one income and save the other. If you're in a dual income household, start by living entirely on the higher of your two salaries. Bank the other one completely. Spend a few months adjusting to that budget and getting comfortable with it. Once you've settled in, try transitioning to living on the lower income and saving the higher one. This approach has a powerful secondary benefit. If life ever changes, if one of you wants to stay home with children, if someone loses a job, if one of you wants to take a lower-paying job you're more passionate about, you're already prepared. You've built your life around one income. Your housing decisions, your spending habits, your financial structure, all of it is already sized to fit one salary. The transition isn't a crisis. It's just a continuation of what you've already been doing. The second strategy is about income, because the math of saving 50% is a lot easier the more you earn. If you're making a six-figure salary, saving half is genuinely attainable with the right habits and lifestyle choices. If you're earning $22,000 a year, the honest reality is that saving half isn't really the priority. Earning more is. At the lower end of the income spectrum, the most powerful thing you can do is focus on increasing what you bring in. A side job, a promotion, developing a skill that commands higher pay, starting a small business, any of these can rapidly increase your capacity to save because every additional dollar you earn beyond your current expenses can go directly into savings. You're not adjusting your lifestyle around it, you're just saving it. Income growth and expense reduction work together. You don't need to do both perfectly, but moving the needle on both gives you momentum faster than focusing on just one. Strategy 3. When it comes to cutting expenses, focus on the big wins first. This is important because a lot of financial advice focuses on small things: cutting your daily coffee, canceling a streaming service, packing your lunch. And those things can help at the margins. But if you're serious about saving a significant portion of your income, you need to address the big three: housing, transportation, and food. These three categories make up the majority of most people's budgets, and meaningful movement in any one of them has a far greater impact than dozens of small cuts combined. On housing, if your mortgage or rent is consuming a large percentage of your income, it's worth asking hard questions. Could you move somewhere smaller? Could you rent out a portion of your home to offset costs? Some people have found creative solutions here, moving into a duplex or triplex, living in one unit and renting out the others. When the rental income covers the mortgage, your housing effectively costs you nothing out of pocket. That's an extreme example, but it illustrates how dramatically housing decisions shape your ability to save. On transportation, living closer to work, driving a fuel-efficient vehicle, or better yet, cycling or walking when possible, can save a substantial amount each month between gas, insurance, maintenance, and depreciation. On food, dining out regularly is one of the fastest ways to drain a budget. Cooking at home more consistently, reducing or eliminating red meat, and shifting toward a mostly plant-based diet can noticeably reduce grocery costs as well. None of this has to be permanent or absolute. It's about finding the level of reduction that makes a real difference without making your life feel joyless. Focus on these three categories first, and you'll generate more progress toward your savings goal than you would by cutting 100 small things. The fourth strategy is about the expenses that are easy to forget, what you might call invisible costs. It's natural to focus on the things you can see and feel: groceries, gas, clothing. But some of the most impactful recurring costs are ones that quietly drain your budget without getting much attention. Insurance premiums, mutual fund fees, subscription services, annual memberships, bank fees. These expenses don't feel as tangible, but they absolutely show up on your bottom line. Set aside some time, even just one afternoon a month, to go through your budget and specifically look for these invisible costs. Ask yourself for each one: am I getting value from this? Is there a cheaper alternative? Have I even thought about this expense recently? You might be surprised how much you find. And unlike housing or transportation decisions that require major life changes, many of these invisible costs can be reduced or eliminated with a single phone call or a few clicks. Let's talk about the mindset side of this for a moment, because saving 50% isn't just a math problem. It's also a values question. The people who successfully save at this level tend to share one thing in common. They've decided that financial freedom is worth more to them than the things they'd be giving up. They're not saving out of fear or deprivation. They're saving with a clear purpose: to pay off debt faster, to retire earlier, to have the flexibility to make choices based on what they actually want rather than what they can afford. That purpose matters. When you know what you're saving for, every decision that supports it feels less like a sacrifice and more like a step towards something you genuinely want. And when you automate the savings, moving money before you have a chance to spend it, the lifestyle adjustment happens naturally over time. You get used to living on less. What felt tight at first starts to feel normal and then even comfortable. You don't need to hit 50% to benefit from this approach. Start wherever you are. If you're currently saving 5%, try getting to 10%. If you're at 10%, work toward 20%. Each step builds the habit, builds the savings, and builds the flexibility that makes the next step easier. Let's wrap up. Saving 50% of your income is a radical idea, but it's one that's grounded in a very simple principle. The more distance you create between what you earn and what you spend, the faster you build financial security and freedom. For couples, living on one income and saving the other is one of the clearest paths to getting there. For everyone, focusing on the biggest expenses first, housing, transportation, and food, creates more impact than cutting small things. Boosting your income accelerates the process significantly, and paying attention to invisible recurring costs keeps money from quietly slipping away. You don't need to do all of this at once. Pick one strategy, apply it, and build from there. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress, and any meaningful increase in your savings rate is a step in the right direction. If this video was helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content on building a financial life that actually works for you. Drop a comment and let me know. What percentage of your income are you currently saving, and what feels like the biggest obstacle to saving more? I genuinely love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.